Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. So it was PGA Championship weekend. Did you watch? Another major in the books. Congratulations to Aaron Rai. Beautiful golf course, Aronimink, which I didn't know was about 15 miles away from where I grew up as a kid, which was Ridley Park, Pennsylvania, and only about 9 miles from where a lot of my family lived in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. And again, what a beautiful course. I think it was deceiving to the eye, though. It appeared from a distance, anytime they zoomed out, to be wide open. It's not water everywhere. It doesn't look like TPC Sawgrass. It looks like a place where you could spray the ball around a little bit and still have shots into what are massive greens, but you would be wrong. Driving accuracy was absolutely at a premium. It was a lot like a US Open, where the rough and not hitting a fairway with your drive really punished the golfers. Hit a bad tee shot, and you were going to have challenges. Quick side note. I used to carry a lot of golf balls in my golf bag. What's a lot? Probably 24 or so, but recently I decided it was time to trim that back a little bit. Not losing balls like I did when I just started, so now a couple of new sleeves and a few lightly used balls, definitely inside of a dozen. It doesn't really matter. I'm not carrying the bag, but from a mental perspective, I think it's good for my confidence to know that I don't need that safety blanket anymore. I don't need to go out there, and I don't think I ever really needed to go out there with 30 golf balls in my golf bag, but there were rounds where it felt like it. Anyway, there's a point to this. Sorry for the diversion. Back to Aronimink and a question. If you could go out there and play today, same course conditions, but no spotters to help you find your ball in the rough, how many golf balls would you bring? For me, I'd be planning on losing at least one ball per hole and would want a little bit of a buffer beyond that. I think no less than 30 balls in my bag. Is that crazy? Let me know what you think. Great tournament, and while it probably would have been better for ratings if Scotty, Rory, and Ron were battling it out down the stretch, I enjoyed seeing the young guys. Alex Smalley looked rock solid through the back nine on Saturday and entered the final round as the leader. Then started the day on Sunday with 5 straight pars before an errant drive on 6 landed him in deep rough. His first attempt to get out landed him in more deep rough. His next attempt got him out, but still not on the green. Then he bladed a short-sided chip well past the hole and 2-putted for double bogey 6. I've got to say it was hard to watch. I know the feeling. After the first bad chip, he started bleeding confidence. You could see it. Another bad one, and he was shaken. The third, which was the one he bladed over the hole, it was something that we can all relate to. I mean, if you've played the game, and this is how I feel in a greenside bunker, man, once it starts to get away from you a little bit, it is hard to get it back. And while he would never find his way back into the lead, he finished eagle bogey and then a big birdie on 18 to tie John Rahm for a share of second place. That birdie putt on 18 earned him an additional $882,000, with his purse going from, if he had tied for third, what would have been $981,000, he jumped up to $1.8 million. So, look, a lot of money either way, but what a great showing. And it would have been easy. It would have been easy after losing the lead to fold and drift away, but he persevered, and I thought it was a great story. Really enjoyed getting to know, I don't think I'd ever seen him out there before, but getting to know Alex Smalley a little bit. But the day in the tournament belonged to Aaron Rai, who shot a blistering 65 on Sunday. He made 3 bogeys on the front for a 1 under 34, but then went 4 under on the back and pulled away from the field. With Victory already seemingly well in hand. His biggest moment came on 17 when he sunk a 68-foot putt for birdie. That's right, 68 feet. I don't think in the course that I play, I don't know if there's a hole where you could put the pin on, kind of furthest right and the ball in furthest left. I don't know if there's a hole where you'd have a shot at a 68-foot putt. So like I said, there were some big greens on this golf course. What made it even more amazing is if you watched, you would know how impressive that was. On Saturday, I was texting Jason, who we had played golf that morning, and I sent a text at 6:30 p.m. I think it was right after John Rahm had missed a short one. And I said, wow, I've never seen so many missed 3 and 4 foot putts. The greens seem to have everyone perplexed, but Aaron Rai, he entered the matrix. He entered the zone on Sunday and pulled 3 shots clear of the field. Congratulations, Aaron. I don't think this will be the last. It was a really impressive performance, rock solid down the stretch. What a great golfer. Speaking of being in the zone, after a terrible putting performance of my own last week, I regrouped on Saturday. But let's back up a little. I've been having some back problems, and on Wednesday, by the time I got home, I was really hurting. Getting in and out of the car was a challenge. I think when I came home, my wife noticed when I groaned, make an effort to bend over and untie my shoes, which I never did successfully. I had to just kick them off. I couldn't bend over far enough to tie or untie my shoes. That led me to admit that not only was my back hurting and it was hard to tie and untie my shoes, but that breathing at the moment was a real problem. It hurt to take a deep breath in and to fill my lungs and expand my ribs. It put pressure on my back, and it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling when you feel like you can't really take a deep breath in. You have to just take these short little breaths because, I was in a lot of pain. So, I've had back issues from time to time throughout my life, but this is a first. I have never felt like this before. Now, the upside is that once my wife finished with the "why didn't you tell me this days ago" speech, she put her skills as a physical therapist to good use and went to work on my back. And I've got to say, the treatment really helped. While I wasn't 100%, I was able to get back to breathing pain-free. And by Saturday, I felt like I was healthy enough to go out and play golf. Told myself I'd go easy, just have fun and enjoy the day. And it couldn't have started better. First hole's par 5, hit the fairway, hit the green in regulation, and made a little downhill left to right putt from about 12 feet for birdie. That, of course, as it always does, led me to asking, what's the course record? But believe it or not, I missed the record by just a bit on Saturday. You see, the green in regulation that I hit on the first hole would be the last one for the day. In addition, I racked up 3 penalties with out-of-bound drives. Somehow, after hitting 1 green and only 4 fairways, having 3 penalty strokes for out-of-bounds drives, I still managed to shoot an 88. How? 26 putts. So after my worst putting performance of the year last Sunday with 38 putts, I managed to tie my best putting performance of the year with 26. That's 10 1 putts, 8 2 putts, and 0 3 putts. So after the Saturday round, came home and for the first time in 2026, got in the pool, which living in Florida, you would think, wow, that seems like it's May. Why haven't you gotten in the pool yet? But no pool heater. The water does get a little chilly over the winter time, but right now it's perfect. And with my back aching a little bit, probably the smarter thing would have been to ice my back. But I thought cool water is not a bad idea. So floated around in the pool a little bit, got back in, cleaned up, and pretty much hung out and watched the PGA Saturday afternoon. And again, it was fun to watch. Good tournament. And yeah, I love it. You gotta love the majors. Sunday morning, back still hurting a little bit, but look, I've got it. I've got the golf disease. There's no way I was not going back out on Sunday. And it looked like there was a potential for rain on Sunday. I think once we teed off at about 8 o'clock, the weather was said about a 30% chance of rain after 10 a.m. And while it was cloudy and overcast and a little breezy, I think maybe there was a period where we felt a couple of raindrops just as we made the turn onto the back, but ended up being a beautiful day on the golf course on Sunday. And while statistically there were things that looked better on Sunday, so I doubled the number of fairways that I hit to 8 on Sunday from 4 on Saturday. And I hit 5 greens in regulation on Sunday as opposed to the 1 on Saturday. I also racked up 2 penalty strokes from out of bound drives. And again, and it's an amazing thing how this can happen in a 24-hour period, I just lost the feel for speed on my putts and went back to leaving the things too short or too long. So Sunday ended up being a 33 putt day to get through the round. That's 5 1 putts, 11 2 putts, and 2 3 putts. Not as bad as last Sunday, but certainly not as good as Saturday. And it's a weird thing, right? Same exact golf course. It's not like I played a different course on Sunday than I played on Saturday. You just think that the greens, how much can they change overnight? I don't know. It's something that I'll continue to work on and continue trying to figure out. Is just there's days where I can't feel speed. And I think with putting, it's a really interesting thing because I've watched videos and I've heard people say, which is absolutely true, that if you were standing on the green and let's just say you picked up a golf ball and the goal was to roll it towards the hole, I just think we have a natural feel for how much energy it takes to do that. Separate it, take that ball out of our hand, put it on the ground, put a putter between our hands and the ball, and all of a sudden it's a much more difficult task. And it's certainly what the pros do really well. Again, I did see some people on Saturday and Sunday miss some short 3 and 4 foot putts, but it continues to be amazing how often from great distances, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet, these guys and gals hit amazing lag putts that just leave them tapping birdies. It's a skill that I don't possess, that I think most amateurs don't possess, but it's something that can absolutely shave strokes off your game if you can find a way to read greens, understand speed, and hit good first putts that leave you an opportunity to make an easy one on that second putt. So some of the other highlights, lowlights from Sunday is it certainly didn't start out as well. It started bogey, double bogey, bogey, double bogey on my way to a 47 on the front. Made the turn, didn't go great there either. Started double bogey on 10, triple on 11. But then I found something, and I've got to say that while I did hit more fairways, I was hitting driver really well on Sunday. And it's something that, while again, on Saturday, I missed quite a few fairways. I'm in a good place with my driver right now. I need to be more accurate. I'm still working on it. I'm consistently trying to hit a little draw, but I feel confident. I feel confident with driver in my hand, standing over the ball, that I'm going to hit a shot that allows me an opportunity to hit a green in regulation. And I think frequently, even when I'm missing the fairway, that's happening. If I'm missing by a little bit, I'm just in the rough off the left, off to the right. I still have a shot into the green. What's been more of a challenge has been my iron and wedge play, but I get to 12, which is par 5, and it's one that, and I can't tell you why this is, the par 5 first, for me, I feel like is one of the easier holes on the course. The par 5 12th, which is of similar distance, the only difference is it's a little bit of a dog leg right, has been a tough hole for me. It's just one that I don't play well, but hit a great drive. So for me, from a distance perspective, I'd say my drive was about 240, which is a really good drive. Still had another 240 into the green and absolutely smoked a 3-wood that went about 220 yards, landed just short of, there's a bunker front left. So left myself with a 20-yard pitch shot, had to get it over the bunker, and hit a great pitch that left me about 5 feet for birdie. And unfortunately, as I said, Sunday was a different day than Saturday. Missed my birdie putt, but tapped in for par. And anytime I can make a par on that hole, that's a good hole for me. Move on to 13, which is about a 350-yard par 4. And again, smoked a drive right down the middle of the fairway, left myself, and the number was 92 yards to the pin, which is a good sand wedge number, good full sand wedge, which I hit. And I hit it 92 yards, missed right of the pin, left myself about 2 feet, and walked up to that one and said, hey, I'm not missing this one. And I didn't. And I tapped in for birdie. But it's 2 holes in a row that I had legit birdie putts. And I feel like it's not something I keep track of. Maybe it's a stat I should keep track of. Because you can hit greens in regulation, right? But you can hit a green in regulation and be 30 feet away. That's not, maybe you get lucky and you roll one in. That's not a real birdie opportunity. I do feel like over the past couple of weeks, while I haven't made a ton of them, I have left myself more legitimate birdie opportunities. And that if some of them start to fall, it really helps the score. So felt good about that. Made a birdie on 13, go to 14, which the stroke index is 18, meaning it is the easiest hole on the golf course. And actually, let me look at something here right now. This hole terrorizes me. So in the month of May, I'm averaging, and again, it's par 3, I'm averaging 4.8 stroke. I mean, I'm almost averaging a double bogey on what should be the easiest hole on the course. April, I averaged 3.89, March, 3.5, February, 4.4, January, 4.2. I mean, that number, it almost always ranges from, depending on where the pin is, depending where the tee box is, 115 on the short side to 135 on the long side. And it's a great pitching wedge number. The couple of unique things about it is it's protected in front by a big bunker on the left and a big bunker on the right. It's a hole where you can't go long. There's probably 10 yards behind the green that if you go 10 yards beyond the green, you're in the street. You're out of bounds. And the green's elevated, so if you carry the green, it's going to roll down the hill. And if you're not in the street, it leaves you in a really bad spot. As I'm talking about this, I'm thinking, I have got to find a way to, maybe I putt from the tee box. I don't know. I've got to find a way to play this hole better. There's no reason that I'm making double bogeys on this hole. But on Sunday, I hit what I thought was a good shot with pitching wedge. It was breezy, had a little left to right wind blowing, and it did move the ball right, and just missed carrying that front bunker. So I'm in the bunker, front right, and this brings me back to all of my challenges that I've had hitting balls out of the bunkers. And I hit this one thin, hit it over the green, left myself in a bad spot to get back up. Just ended up making double bogey on 14, bogey on 15, so on 16, my favorite hole in the course, par 3, was playing 151 yards on Sunday. Really good 8-iron. 151 yards to the pin, 175 to the back of the green. And initially I thought about potentially hitting a 7-iron because the pin was in the front. There was plenty of room behind, but I thought, no, I do not want to go long to the green. That's death. Let's hit the 8-iron. And if I come up a little short, it's not a bad shot. It's not a bad spot to chip from. So I hit 8-iron, and it makes me wonder, man, did I compress this golf ball? So like you said, 151 yards to the pin, 175 to the back of the green. The ball just hit the back of the green. So carried every bit of 175 yards in the air. And then is the same thing, elevated green, slopes down in the back towards the water, went by past the back of the green, another 20 yards. So came to rest my 151 yard, what I hoped would be 151 yard 8-iron, traveled 195 yards and left me in just a disastrous spot in the trees, just on the fringe of the water. Hit a couple of bad. Back to talking about knowing what it feels like to hit one bad chip or pitch and have the start bleeding confidence, which leads you into another one. I made triple on 16, go to 17, and 17 is another par 5, has been another kind of nemesis hole, because what you can't do on 17 is you cannot miss left. Right there is miles of room. There's a fairway. The 18th fairway is to the right. And I know that, and I still feel like more often than not, I pull my tee shot left, and if it's not out of bounds, it's close and leaves me in a bad position. So on 17, I said, there's no way. There's no way I'm missing left. And I didn't. Now, I hit a ball way right out onto the 18th fairway, but it was fine. I mean, it's a good shot back in. I hit a nice shot back into the 17th fairway, hit the green, 2-putted for par, which took me to the 18th hole. 18th hole, really difficult fairway to hit. I think I mentioned it before. I would guess, in terms of fairways hit, that I hit this fairway the least of any fairway on the course. But hit it on Sunday with a good tee ball. The flag was tucked a little left of center, which meant that I didn't have a great angle in, because I was left side of the fairway. There was a tree between myself and the flag, which I had a choice there. I could go up over the tree, or I could go out around the tree. And this is one of those things that gives me some hope about my golf game, because I looked at the shot and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start this right side of the green. I'm going to hit a draw, and I'm going to bring it back in towards the pin. And this was I was about 150 yards out. So after hitting my 8-iron 195 yards just a few holes before, I again pulled the 8-iron, just felt like, hey, it's the right club for the job. That whatever happened on 16 was unusual, and it's likely not going to happen again. And on 18, I hit a really nice 8-iron. Well struck, started the right side of the green, drew it back towards the pin, landed a little right of, it was pin high, right of the pin, about 8 feet for birdie, which, as I said, Sunday wasn't Saturday, didn't putt the ball so well. So missed my birdie putt, but tapped in for par to finish with a 93. which not a great round of golf. And a round that last week or the week before, I probably would have been upset with shooting a 93. But on Sunday, I felt like, I don't know, I just felt good about the round. I felt positive about some of the shots that I hit, was happy with the way I was hitting driver, hit some good iron shots as we finished up the day. And I might be crazy. Maybe it's the pain meds I was taking for my back, but I just walked away from the round feeling pretty good, feeling like clearly there's some things I need to clean up there. Didn't start well, but I just see it. Like, I see that there's good golf in there, and I feel like I'm getting close. I feel like I'm getting closer to where I was late last year, early this year, when my handicap was certainly better than it is now. But as we head into summer, while I'm not thrilled with the scores that I'm putting up, I feel like my golf game is starting to round back into shape. Need to be more consistent with the putter, but again, happy with the driver, starting in my irons well. It's really going to come down to how I am around the greens. Can I get up and down? Can I make putts? Can I figure out how to hit a 30-yard shot versus a 50-yard shot versus a 70-yard shot? And these are things that I continue to practice. But I ended the weekend with, again, not a great score. 88 Saturday, 93 on Sunday. I've got to resolve some of these back issues. I am feeling better, working on it, doing some exercises to continue to keep things loose and hopefully strengthen some of the muscles that I need to be stronger for a good golf swing. And I don't know, I'm feeling positive, feeling good about my golf game as we enter what should be. So it's a holiday weekend here in the States. Monday, May 25th is Memorial Day. So I've got to continue to take it easy on my back, but I plan for this to be a 3-round of golf weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful going into it that I can go out and I can play some good golf next weekend and start to see my scores, my handicap go back in the other direction. So that's it, I think. Enjoyed the PGA. Got lucky, dodged a little bit of rain, had a couple of good rounds of golf. The back, which middle of the week seemed like it was going to prevent me from playing, did not. And hey, maybe that's it. Maybe I was just thankful. Maybe I was just happy to be out there playing golf, because the alternative could have been that I was in too much pain to go out and do it. So thanks for being here. Let me know if you watched the tournament and if you had the opportunity on Monday after it was over to go out and play Aronimink. How many golf balls would you have taken out there? I'd be interested to hear the answer to that question. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you next week. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe. And maybe even share it with a friend who is out there on their own golf journey. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound. I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.